Imagine this for a moment. You walk into a room. A woman glances at you, just for a split second. Her lips part ever so slightly. Her eyes linger just a beat too long. Her hand brushes through her hair. You dismiss it. You think it's nothing. And then another man steps in, reads the very signal you just ignored, and takes her away. Now let me ask you this. What if I told you that women are constantly sending signals of desire, and you've been blind to them your entire life? Sounds unbelievable? But here's the truth. Women rarely say it out loud. They don't stand in front of you and declare, "I want you." They use their eyes, their lips, their body, the tiniest gestures that look accidental, but are anything but. And most men are completely blind. This is the tragedy of the average man. He thinks he's smart. He believes if a woman likes him, she'll make it obvious. He waits for verbal confirmation, for something explicit. But women don't operate that way. They whisper with their body. They challenge you with subtlety. And if you can't see it, you're eliminated from the game before it even begins. How many times have you missed it? How many times have you left a date thinking, "She only sees me as a friend," when in reality she was sending signals the entire night? How many times have you hesitated for just one moment, only to watch another man, less attractive, less interesting than you, step in and claim what you were too blind to see? The most painful part isn't rejection. The most painful part is realizing the opportunity was right in front of you, and you never had the courage or the awareness to take it. And then you blame bad luck. It wasn't bad luck. It was blindness. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The truth is always present. It is only we who turn away from it." The truth of women's desire is no different. It's there, in her eyes, her lips, her touch. But most men choose not to see. They pretend not to notice. They choose the comfort of blindness over the discomfort of reality. An average man tells himself, "She's not into me." A weak man says, "Maybe I'm imagining it." But a Stoic man, a man who lives with discipline, clarity, and presence, is different. He doesn't let himself be blind. He doesn't live in fantasy. He observes. He reads the subtle signs. And when the moment comes, he acts. Calm, decisive, confident. This isn't guesswork. This isn't fantasy. This is the art of reading reality. When you learn how to observe, every gesture becomes a sentence written across her body. I want you. And in today's video, I'm going to take you deep into that world, the world of female body language when desire takes over. We're going to break down the signals most men miss, the parted lips, the provocative gaze, the accidental touch, the way she positions her body toward you. And once you see them, you will never be able to unsee them again. Once you know them, you will never go back to being blind. But beware. This knowledge is a blade. In the hands of the weak, it cuts them down. They become obsessed, chasing every flicker, desperate for validation. In the hands of the Stoic man, it is a weapon, a tool to build real connection, to step into intimacy with clarity instead of hesitation. So here's the question. Do you want to remain blind like the crowd? Or do you want to become one of the few men awake enough to read the language that everyone else ignores? If your answer is the latter, then stay with me. Because in just a moment, I will show you the exact body language signals women send when they want you. The ones average men always miss, but the aware man never overlooks. 1. The lips, a silent weapon of seduction. Here's a truth most men never dare to believe. A woman's lips are not just for speaking, they are for inviting. A subtle parting of the lips, a fleeting lick, a gentle bite on the lower lip. All of these are primal signals of desire. But here's the problem. Men lie to themselves. They say, She's just nervous. Or maybe her lips are dry. Wrong. A woman doesn't do that in front of you unless she wants you to notice. Pay attention. When she speaks to you and her lips slightly part, that's not just to breathe. That is instinct. At a subconscious level, she is recreating the act of intimacy. Parted lips are a rehearsal for a kiss that hasn't happened yet. A hidden invitation wrapped inside casual conversation. And what about when she licks her lips? You think it's a meaningless habit? Number. When a woman slides her tongue across her lips, she is unconsciously directing your attention there. Her lips become the spotlight. They become impossible to ignore. This is not random. This is primal. It's her way of saying without words, "Look here." Imagine what could happen. And then, the lip bite. This is the pinnacle of body language desire. When a woman bites her lower lip while looking at you, it is never just a nervous tick. It is the raw image of anticipation, of suppressed craving. Lip biting is the body's way of simulating pleasure, of hinting at what she's imagining in that moment. When you see it, understand this. Her body is confessing what her mouth will not. But here's the catch. Only men with awareness recognize this. The weak man ignores it. The average man doubts himself, wondering if it's all in his head. But a Stoic man is different. He observes, he acknowledges, and he remains calm. He doesn't pounce like a desperate animal, but he doesn't walk away blind either. He reads the sign, keeps his composure, and allows the moment to unfold with confidence. A woman's lips are a silent weapon of seduction. They make no sound, yet they speak louder than any words. And once you learn how to read them, you will never again walk away from an interaction second-guessing yourself. 2. The eyes, undressing you without a word. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. But in moments of desire, a woman's eyes are more than windows. They become mirrors of her deepest craving. Pay close attention the next time you sit across from a woman. If her gaze lingers longer than normal, that is not politeness. That is a signal. Every prolonged look carries with it a primal urge. I'm paying attention to you and I want you to know it. And then there are those moments when her eyes break from yours, only to land on your lips. Don't underestimate this detail. When a woman's gaze flickers between your eyes and your mouth, she's not simply listening to your words. She's imagining what would happen if the distance between you disappeared. Another signal most men completely miss: dilated pupils. When excitement and desire rise, the eyes betray everything. You cannot control your pupils, and neither can she. If you notice her eyes widening, glowing brighter when she looks at you, that is pure biology revealing the truth. Attraction is alive and burning. The problem is, men misinterpret. They assume a lingering look is just courtesy. They convince themselves that a glance at the lips is random. But the truth is this: it is raw desire, unfiltered, unhidden. Her body is speaking even when her lips stay silent. A weak man avoids that gaze, breaking eye contact because he's afraid of what it might mean. An average man questions himself, thinking, "Am I imagining this?" But a Stoic man is different. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't look away. He holds her gaze and allows the tension to grow. He understands that it is in the silence, in the meeting of eyes, that the fire begins to spread. Remember this: the eyes are never just eyes. They are instruments of seduction, stripping away your defenses without ever touching your body. They are the purest expression of a woman's desire. And if you are strong enough to hold that gaze, to meet it without fear, you'll discover that her eyes can speak louder than 1,000 whispered words. 3. The touch, a game of testing. If the eyes are an unspoken invitation, then the touch is a woman's most subtle test. And understand this: when her hand touches you, It is never an accident. Think back to the last time it happened. She walked past you, her fingers brushing lightly against your arm, barely noticeable, almost meaningless. But something inside you felt it wasn't random. And you're right, it wasn't. It was strategy. Women are masters of using physical contact to measure a man's response. A fleeting touch is her silent question. What will you do if I come closer? When her hand rests on your arm during conversation, it's not casual. It's a signal. I feel comfortable with you. I'm giving you permission to move in closer. And if she allows her hand to linger near your chest, understand, this is one of the clearest signs of attraction. She doesn't need to touch your heart for you to feel it. The proximity alone, the suggestion of closeness, is the message. It's a disguised invitation, wrapped in a veil of accident. But here's the truth. This is a game of cat and mouse. Her touch is more than desire. It's a test. She wants to see if you're aware enough to notice and confident enough to respond. The man who reacts too eagerly ruins the moment. The man who freezes and does nothing loses his chance. A weak man blushes, pulls away, or pretends nothing happened. An average man doubts himself, asking, was that really intentional? But a Stoic man? He's different. He feels it. He smiles. He acknowledges it without overreacting. Calm, collected. His steady presence tells her two things at once, that he noticed and that he's strong enough not to be rattled by it. Remember, a touch is never just a touch. It is an invitation, a test, a subtle game women use to filter out men who are blind or insecure. If you are sharp enough to see it and strong enough to answer with composure, then the game stops being a challenge. It becomes the first step into real connection. 4. Hair, the primal tool of seduction. If the lips are the silent weapon and the eyes are the hidden flame, then a woman's hair is the veil of seduction, used to both conceal and invite. Have you ever wondered why women so often touch their hair in the presence of a man they're attracted to? The stroking, the tucking, the way they let it fall across their face. It is not random. It is primal instinct, coded into them through thousands of years of evolution. When a woman brushes her hair back over her shoulder, she's not just being neat. She's exposing her neck, one of the most sensitive and alluring parts of her body. This is a visual invitation, a subtle act of openness designed to draw your attention without a word. When she tucks her hair neatly to the side, it carries a double meaning: attraction and safety. By revealing her face fully, she's allowing you direct access to her expression. It's a gesture of trust, but also a challenge. Do you dare look at me now? And when she hides behind her hair, letting it drape like a curtain, this reveals something deeper than just flirtation. It is a mix of defense and desire. She wants to feel safe, but she also wants to test whether your presence is steady enough to make her step out from behind that veil. If you are grounded, she will emerge, and the distance between you will shrink. Hair may seem like nothing more than appearance, but in truth, it is one of a woman's most instinctive tools for controlling attention. When she twirls it around her finger, lets it fall over her shoulder, or shakes it loose, it isn't just feminine grace. It is a message, a clear message. Look at me. I want your attention. A weak man ignores it. An average man finds it cute, but doesn't understand it. But a Stoic man reads it like a book. He doesn't rush. He doesn't overreact. But he knows. Every movement of her hair is a step closer to intimacy. Every subtle toss is her way of pulling him in without saying a word. Remember this. Hair is never just hair. It is a primal instrument of attraction. And once you learn to read it, you will never look at a woman's hair the same way again. 5. Body positioning, the silent alignment of desire. The body is the most loyal traitor. You can hide behind words, you can fake a smile, but posture never lies. And when a woman is drawn to you, her body will reveal it, louder than anything she says. Stop listening only to what comes out of her mouth. Watch how she positions herself around you. When her shoulders square directly toward you, when her torso opens instead of turning away, that is not coincidence. That is a declaration written in silence. You are the center of my attention. And when she begins to lean in closer, understand this. She's shrinking the space between you to test whether you're strong enough to hold it. Every inch she moves toward you is a challenge disguised as a gesture. What will you do if I step into your world? This isn't random. This is instinct pulling her in your direction. But there's an even more powerful sign: mirroring. If you raise your glass, she lifts hers. If you lean back, seconds later she leans the same way. If you smile, her lips curve in perfect sync. This is not an accident. This is her body syncing with yours, like two frequencies locking onto the same signal. Most men miss it. They dismiss it as coincidence, as nothing. But the truth is this: the body does not imitate someone it doesn't crave. The weak man looks away. The unsure man ignores it. But a stoic man, he sees it, he knows it, and he holds his ground. He doesn't rush. He doesn't break the rhythm. He simply remains calm, steady, and present. His stillness sends the strongest message of all. I see you, and I'm unshaken. And in that steadiness, she feels both safety and attraction. Never forget, the body always speaks before the mouth. So when a woman turns her shoulders toward you, leans in closer, and unconsciously mirrors your every move, this isn't mere posture. It is a silent proclamation. I want connection with you. Do not overlook it, because sometimes in the silence of body language lies the loudest invitation of all. 6. When desire becomes unmistakable. There are moments when signals are no longer signals. They're not subtle. They're not hidden. They don't require decoding. They become an open, undeniable invitation. Picture this. You're sitting across from a woman. She leans in, her lips pressing gently against her teeth, her eyes locked on yours with that silent command. Come closer. This isn't the subtlety of a hair flip or the brush of a hand. This is desire exploding into the open, so obvious that even the blind could see it. And yet, here's the tragedy. Too many men still miss it. They see it, but they don't believe it. They feel it, but they whisper to themselves, maybe I'm imagining things. And in that hesitation, the moment slips away. The door that was wide open slams shut, and they're left with the same haunting thought. If only I had acted. Understand this. When a woman shows desire at this level, she has given you a rare opportunity. This is the point where body language no longer whispers. It screams, I want you right now. A man cannot ignore it. He must act. But acting does not mean rushing, fumbling, or losing control. Acting means accepting the invitation with calm, with certainty, a confident touch, a deliberate step closer, a gaze that does not break. That is how a stoic man responds. Not frantic, not awkward, but steady, as if everything is unfolding exactly as it was meant to. This is the line that separates ordinary men from powerful men. The ordinary man sees the signal, but freezes in doubt. The stoic man, the awakened man, steps forward and claims the moment. He knows this truth. When desire becomes unmistakable, it will not present itself twice if you let it slip. Remember, some opportunities knock only once. And when a woman's body is shouting an invitation you cannot mistake, you have two choices: step inside or be left outside forever. We've walked together through every doorway of female body language, from the parted lips, the burning eyes, the testing touch, the inviting hair, to the body positioning that leans toward you. And finally, the explosive moment when desire becomes undeniable. Each signal is a piece of the symphony of attraction. And if you are sharp enough to put them together, you will hear one clear message: I want you. But remember this, not every man hears that song. The blind man walks past and feels nothing. The weak man convinces himself it was just coincidence. And in the end, both of them lose the opportunity that was right in front of them. The truth is, the world doesn't lack opportunity. What men lack is the eyes to see it. And those eyes don't come from luck. They come from awareness, from discipline, from strength. This is the essence of Stoicism. A Stoic man is not dragged around by illusions. He doesn't get lost in fantasies. He doesn't build castles in the sand with empty assumptions. He looks at reality. He listens to the body language, the most primal, unfiltered language of all, and he acts on it. Women speak through their bodies. Ordinary men wait for words. But the Stoic man, the strong man, listens to what is unspoken. Because he knows the most important truths are often delivered without a single word. So the next time you stand in front of a woman, pause and ask yourself, am I seeing the signals, or am I still blind like before? Am I reading the symphony her body is playing, or am I pretending not to hear? That very moment is the dividing line. The line between the man who misses opportunity and the man who seizes it. The line between the man who lives in doubt and the man who lives in truth. The line between the weak and the Stoic. And you must choose. Will you continue to walk past the clearest invitations, or will you learn to see what most men never see? Remember, these signals don't repeat themselves the same way twice. A glance might flash only once. A touch might happen only in a fleeting instant. A lean, a lip bite, an undeniable invitation. If you miss it, it's gone forever. That's why you must live awake. Don't wait for luck. Don't hope opportunity knocks on your door. Open your eyes. Observe. Step forward as a man who is prepared to claim the moment. If you want to become that kind of man, a man who is never blinded by illusion, a man who reads the language of desire and acts with certainty, then continue walking with me on the unshakable Stoic path. This path is not for the many. It is for the few, for the men who dare to face reality head-on and turn it into their strength.